Hey guys, it's ultrafreak here today, and I'm here to give you a review on the Batman. And this is just an unscripted review that I'm doing right now, nothing too special. And without wasting any more time, let's get started. So, when I was when I didn't rewatch the series to do this review, all I remember was that I was a kid and it was on Kids WB. I remember, Batman, Robin, and Batgirl, and the infamous, that movie. I think it was like a vampire movie that Cartoon Network used to show. Anyway, that was my impression of it. The only thing that stood out about the series that I can remember was that I loved the concept art that they brought out. The characters, basically like how Bane was just all red, and how the Riddler looked a little more intimidating than usual, so on and so forth. The concept art basically stood out for me for the series. So, jumping into where I rewatched it, we're gonna go season by season. Basically, all the seasons have like a focus. So they basically focus on each, either like a character or arc, basically. And the first season says like it develops with Ethan Bennett, which is one of the detectives if you watched it. And I thought it was very interesting that they didn't have Commissioner Gordon. It was kind of weird to see Batman, not without Commissioner Gordon, and especially that in this point in the series, Batman wasn't friends with the police yet. He was an enemy, and that was kind of interesting to see for this season. And I like the character Ethan Bennett, the development that they had with him, where he's actually Bruce Wayne's friend, and he's actually a detective trying to take down Batman along with his friend Detective Yin. And I thought that was very good writing on that part. And what I liked the most about the series was how season one ended, where it had Ethan Bennett actually turn into Clayface. That was very good writing, and the way how they ended that season, they definitely would have got revived for the second season. My overall thoughts about the first season, it was one of those, I could definitely tell it's one of those cash grabbing shows, but I could tell because I'm older now. And it was basically like each episode had like a new equipment to it. Like Batman can't defeat the villain, so he invents something to defeat the villain. Obviously they do that so they could sell toys, but like I don't mind that usually, because I know that the reason why these shows exist is to sell merchandise. So like you have the episode where he can't defeat Bane, so he gets out this armor to defeat Bane. You have this episode where he can't defeat Firefly, so he invents a jetpack to defeat Firefly, stuff like that. It was very formulaic, but I gave it a chance because I knew that especially cartoons in that era were like that. So I gave it a chance and everything like that. And basically with that out the way, I mean, it was kind of dry, to be honest, but I know that all of these series in the early 2000s basically start off like that, and then as they build up, they get more momentum. And they always have this thing where when the season is ending, just like this one, they do the best writing you've ever seen throughout the whole series, which with Ethan Bennett, it was very unpredictable and it got me on my toes. So the most memorable part of the season one was when Ethan Bennett transformed into Clayface for me. I also, going into character interactions, I like how they balance Bruce Wayne as being Batman, the serious Batman, and being a bachelor playboy. A lot of adaptations have an issue with doing this usually, because it's hard to have a one character who like believes in justice and wants to take down criminals, combined with the same character that's a single bachelor who just wants to hang out with girls and so on and so forth. It's kind of hard to combine those two, and I think this show did that well. They did Batman well, Bruce Wayne well, basically Alfred well, so on and so forth. It was a very good characters. So that wraps up season one. Let's go into season two. So season two basically starts off without Ethan Bennett, and you have Detective Ian take up the mantle. and Detective Yin was, you know, against Batman for a bit until they were friends. I think that's how it starts off. I'm not sure. Yes, it starts off with them being friends actually, and you know, it was okay. I mean, it was a little bit better than season one. It had a little ups here and there. You know, I wasn't too sure. Like the only spicy things about the series basically was the Ethan Bennett episodes. Like those were well developed, well written episodes, and that's all I have to say about season two. It wasn't. It was more like if you sprinkle salt on season one, basically. Then season three, probably the biggest pivot point of the whole series, basically, because after season two ends, Detective Yin, she doesn't get fired, I don't think. Like that's when Commissioner Gordon actually steps in and they introduce Commissioner Gordon, and then Commissioner Gordon and Batman become friends. So you know, season three starts off and it shows Batgirl, which is Commissioner Gordon's daughter, you know, and so on and so forth. And I found it interesting, they actually introduced Batgirl before Robin, and I thought that was very interesting. I was wondering how they're gonna play that off, and they did it. So they introduced Batgirl for the season, and the writing was just so much better. I don't think it's because of the character they added. Maybe it was the change in writers, because I know that. Because here's the thing, also the intro with the music was so much better. Like season one, season two, the intro for that music was just like dull for such a series. Like for a name like Batman, you have to have a good intro, you know, you can't just have a dull intro. But though season one, season two was a very dull intro, but like season three and onward had a very nice, rememberable intro. And the writing they did with Batgirl was good, and they made Batgirl's friend become Poison Ivy and so on. And I'm not sure if I remember any other continuities where Poison Ivy is actually Batgirl's friend or whatever. Anyway, it was a really good, you know, season, very juicy. You know, you have the Ethan Bennett stuff as usual, and yeah, that's basically it for season three. Yeah, so then you have season four when they finally introduce Robin. Mind you, this show has 5 seasons. I had no idea that basically Robin would be in season four and season five only, because when you look at the, like, basically the cover of the DVDs and stuff like that, you see Robin and Batgirl and Bruce Wayne on it, and you know, I had no idea that for majority of the series Robin was not in it, because in my memory he was always there. Maybe because I saw the later episodes. Anyway, jumping back to season four, you know, they show the whole flying grace and stuff. They show a series. He basically, mind you, at this point, Batgirl doesn't know who Batman is yet, and he just kind of revealed. Batman just kind of revealed who he is to Dick Grayson like really early, which I guess is fine because he adopted him and he was eventually gonna know and stuff. And then, you know, they bonded together, and basically he wanted Robin to have like, basically like, I don't want to say get revenge, but like get justice for his parents, for the mafia guys who took away his parents by, you know, sabotaging them. And at the end, Dick Grayson, you know, Robin didn't do anything bad to them, and you know, I like that. So then you have the interaction between Batgirl and Robin. You know, Batgirl has never been in the Batcave and so on, and then you have Batgirl go in the Batcave, and Bruce Wayne just shows himself to Batgirl. I found that very interesting. He just did it like an instant, because the series throughout like season one and throughout the whole series, they kind of tease Batman like villains almost unmasking who he is, and you know, that was kind of tension grabbing actually, even though I know it's a show and you know they probably won't show who Batman is, but like it was very tension grabbing. And you know, the fact that he shows his identity all over the place is kind of, I don't know, I mean, I guess in the comics people do know who Batman is, but like the way how they illustrated in the series was almost like it was too much. Anyway, then we go on to season 5, Now, actually, before I go to season 5, there were some episodes where Batman would be on patrol with either just Robin or just Batgirl. And I feel like because maybe they didn't have, roles for like two sidekicks to play. And I kind of understand that, because when you had the episodes with Batman, Robin, and Batgirl all together, it was almost like Batman was babysitting two kids in a way. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like, I don't know, maybe they should have made the characters a little more mature if they didn't want to have that in dynamic. I just found it like weird how Batman would go on patrol with Robin or Batgirl by itself. Not so much Robin, but like with Batgirl by herself, and like there's no mention of Dick Grayson in the whole episode. It's like, I guess, not every episode you could write everything. It's kind of like in the Justice League, you can't write every single person in each episode, which is understandable. Now we move on to season 5, and the main focus of season 5 is the Justice League. And I love how they introduced the Justice League. In the Batman series, you have a detective that already knows who Batman is, and it was actually, Martian Manhunter. And with Martian Manhunter, Batman figures out and then shows him, he's a good guy, and they try to stop this this alien invasion that's called like the Joining and so on, and they introduce Batman to the Justice League. And I found it so interesting that Superman wasn't a part of it yet, and they got Batman to recruit Superman. And I'm glad how like the introduction to the Justice League was through Martian Manhunter and not Superman, because that would be too cliche. I like the writing that they kind of twisted and made it Martian Manhunter instead. And then, I don't know, I think the writing on Superman wasn't all that like realistically, kind of, because I mean, I get it's a Batman show and the focus is on Batman, so as long as they get Batman right, that should be it. But like, Superman didn't really want to join the Justice League, and I think that's kind of unlike Superman, since like Superman is kind of like a ally type guy. Like, saying that he works alone sounded a little weird. That sounded more like a Batman thing. And even if he wants to work alone, he wouldn't like basically turn down a good guy. Like, if he sees that, these people are good, he would say like, hey, I know you guys are good, but right now I'm not trying to work with you guys. But it seemed like he was kind of like evil. It was almost like he was doing a Bruce Wayne thing, not really in the evil sense, but like he really wanted to work alone. And Bruce Wayne was even like, hey, I thought I wanted to work alone, but now I have two partners that work with me, and implying Robin and Batgirl. And I found it very interesting, how they, displayed all the characters and so on for the Justice League. And it's like, if you look all through the seasons, the first season was Ethan Bennett, Detective Ethan Bennett. The second season was Detective Ian. Third season, Batgirl. Fourth season, Robin. The fifth season, the Justice League. Now the thing is, I think the show was canceled. It didn't look like the show wrapped up the way how it wanted to, even though it didn't end on a cliffhanger. It seemed like the show didn't really end the way how it wanted to end. So what would have been like season 6? What would be the focus of season 6? Well, the last episode, I think Batgirl says like, we're gonna be the new Justice League, the Junior Justice League. So it's gonna be more of like a Young Justice type thing. And I was thinking, how would they pull that off? Like, what would it be like? I was thinking maybe it could either be a Young Justice thing, or they could do a like a new Teen Titans spin-off or something like that, or I don't know, like something, I don't know what they would do where Batman is like still in the equation, because the realistic thing to do would be like what Justice League Unlimited did, where they kind of extended the thing. Because like, if you look at it, Robin, Batgirl, Justice League, they just kept on extending the characters. So if they go in that order, the next thing would be to extend the Justice League, whichever, if it's like a junior division, or if it's like a older thing where they kind of like do it like Justice League Unlimited. But like, I think there will be an issue with that. Of course, it's a Batman series. You don't want to saturate the series with a bunch of characters that have nothing to do with Batman. I was thinking if they could do more of a Bat Family thing, but like it wouldn't work so well because you have Dick Grayson, who's Nightwing, and then Jason Todd. Of course, I don't. Well, it depends on how they write Jason Todd. If Jason Todd wants to be friends with these guys or not, and then you have, Tim Drake, who's the Red Robin, and then I don't know if they would put Damian Wayne because like in this time, Damian Wayne wasn't all that popular in the adaptations. Damian Wayne is more popular right now, but like he wasn't popular in adaptations or and such. But I think season 6 would do well with Nightwing and Oracle and stuff like that. They even did a Dark Knight episode where they had Batman goes into retirement and they comes back out to own the city again because of violence is up. They did a throwback episode to that, and I kind of like that. It shows that the writers did their research and so on, and they know what they're doing. Of course, because I think Bob Kane was also a part of this, so they do know what they're talking about. And yeah, that's basically my review for the series. What I loved about the series so much was the Ethan Bennett episodes. That was perfect writing. Like I loved this so much, and they could have extended it with another season. I'm not sure what would be the next focus. It could be the Red Hood. That would be very interesting. And yeah, they did character development well. Along with the designs of the characters, I'm not really a fan of the Joker design for this. Like that's the only character I don't like. I think they should have done what they did with the Penguin. Like if you look at the Penguin's design, it's very similar to other comics and so on. I think they should have left the Joker as it is, because the Joker basically looks like a homeless breakdancer, and I wasn't really a fan of that. But yeah, and that's what I really like about the series. It was a very good one. And yeah, so thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks. Bye.